what are you nerding out about now?
Well, let me ask you guys a quick question before we go into our actual things we're nerding out about. Was
Fluffernutters.
there
I like
there
Fluffernutters.
was there a different, more anime version of Avatar: The Last Airbender than what you can currently stream from Nickelodeon? Because I was starting to show Zoe the other night, the series, and I was like, I don't remember it starting this way. Like it literally came out and Sokka and Kira are on the ice, and then the next thing you know, they're over there popping Ong out and all this stuff. And I'm like, I thought there was more to
Okay.
it. Then
You need to stop
hold on.
mispronouncing those names. You're gonna
Non.
cause people to
I
have
don't-
some serious PTSD.
Everybody
Well,
knows it's Ing.
it's Amy. I don't care. So hold on. So I watched the first episode of the new live action, and that's how I remember watching it start before. So am I misremembering something? Is there
You're
something
very much
different?
misremembering it.
Because I know that history, like
Yes,
what they went through in that.
The history that they start with in the live action one, and I put that as one of my things, so we can talk about this.
Okay, cool.
The history that they put at the beginning of the live action stuff, it covers that later in the animated series.
That's why I was remembering it. All right.
So
I have watched the Airbender all the way through.
Yeah. The animated stuff, it covers that more in flashbacks and exposition later. So it jumps straight into the story from them finding Aang in the iceberg. I mean, the first episode is literally called Boy in the Iceberg. But yes, it's from a storytelling perspective, the live action one mixed things around, although they made it more chronological when they mixed it around. Although if they don't do more flashback and exposition, they're going to lose out on a lot of the story. I've only watched about half of it so far. I am liking what I see. I think my biggest criticism is they have gone a bit too dark with it, and I think that's what a lot of studios are doing in general, is they're going darker with stuff. They're like, oh, we got a Game of Thrones this thing. Well, no, Avatar is supposed to be a lot more lighthearted most of the time, and when it gets serious, that's when you're like, ooh, this is a huge tonal shift.
You mean it has impact when it changes tone?
Yeah. And so that's my biggest criticism so far. And again, I've only watched about half of it so far because I'm trying to watch it with my kids. If I was watching it by myself, I would already be done, but I'm watching it with my wife and kids, so we're going through it a lot slower than I would normally. But yeah, they need more fun in it.
That's why I hated the M. Night version.
Well, so this version has more humor than the M. Night one. The M. Night one completely was devoid of anything humorous.
Right.
But this one,
feel like they're doing the brother a little too stiff.
Yes.
He's in the first episode.
Yes.
He's a little too. He should have been more over the top in the delivery of the irritation and anger like they animated in originally, I think.
Yeah, they've toned down his humor, they've toned down his sarcasm. They've toned
He's not
down,
as angry, which is fine, but yeah.
They've just toned down his emotions, in general. But yeah, so far I'm liking it. I just wish that the tonal shift wasn't as much. But other than that, it's way, 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 way better than the M. Night Shyamalan one.
Okay, good. Because I actually only got about halfway through the first episode, got distracted, had to do something else, and I haven't made my way back to it because I got distracted by another show on Netflix.
Well, and like, I guess spoiler alert for the first episode briefly, but like, they literally show them torching people. Like it's a lot darker than
I kind of like it, to be honest.
Well, and I
I mean,
almost,
yeah, okay. If it's for older kids, like teens and college kids, right?
yeah.
Or if it's for us as nostalgia, I like it. I get it if it's like supposed to be more similar to the original, which was for kids, more or less. But I mean, it's kind of I don't know. I even raised my kids to go, well, if they get hit with it's like stormtroopers, you get hit with a laser, you should have a big burn hole in your chest, not a smudge mark on your armor. You know, I don't know. Sorry.
No, yeah, it's good. I do have my there and overall they're relatively small critiques. We'll see how the series goes as a whole. I do like that they've got a ton of musical cues from the original series. Like they bring in Leaves from the Vine at one point when they're talking about some of the backstory. And those that know what Leaves from the Vine is and know the backstory, they're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, it just the animated version, and maybe it's nostalgia speaking, the animated version reaches me more on an emotional level than the live action one does.
If it's setting the wrong tone from the beginning, that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
because those tonal shifts have to have impact, and if everything's dark and gloomy and serious the whole time, you feel nothing because nothing changes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Justice League, DCU.
I watched Aquaman 2 last night.
I
It's
did
not on my
too.
night
I
out
watched
list.
it too. No,
Yeah, no, right.
it was fine. It was fine.
It was fine.
I haven't actually watched it
they
yet.
blew their budget on cocaine and hookers because they didn't put it in graphics. Tell you that. They have but anyway, that's not what I'm learning out about. But so Joe, you put in the thing about being a proofreader.
Yeah. So I think I've mentioned him before, but my wife's cousin is an author. And I've got several of his books and I've read them. And on his Facebook page, he was asking for people to come in, and he needed more proofreaders and beta readers for a new book that he's working on, unrelated to the previous series. And so my wife and we signed up to be proofreaders. He's only got I think he's got 5 chapters out, and he said he's going to have the next 5 shortly. But it's been an interesting experience to see how he goes about it. And I guarantee that many authors have a whole bunch of different ways. But he's got a Facebook group, and he opens up the chapters in a Google Doc, and you can go in and suggest edits to it. And so I've gone through, I've only read the first couple of chapters so far, but yeah, I've made a lot of recommendations for little changes here and there. Mostly it's like, this is awkward phrasing, you might want to mix it up, or this is spelled wrong, this word is actually one word, not 2 words, things like that. But he's been really responsive in making those suggestions and taking those in and fixing the different segments. And so it's been an interesting experience just to see that. And I know that his path to being an author is atypical, because what he does is he prints it digitally first through, I think it's through Amazon, and then once it's made enough money, he orders the physical prints and sells it through Amazon.
Interesting.
And so generally the digital copy comes out about 6 months, 3 to 6 months before the physical copies get printed and go on sale. So
Kind of like that idea.
Yeah, that's how he's been releasing his books. And I've read 3 of his books. I want to say he has 4 though. And this new one is going to be like a sci-fi magic mix, I think is what he's going for. So, whereas his other ones have been urban fantasy.
Urban fantasy. Interesting.
Yeah,
it's all about Carl and what he dreams about.
Yep. It's all Carl Urban fanfic.
Well, as far as I can tell, quote unquote, urban fantasy is just fantasy nowadays. Like it's Earth in current present time Earth. So like the 3 books other books that I've read are about a kid who is a druid in Utah. And there's vampires and monsters and all kinds of other stuff.
Oh my.
Yes. It's not a half bad read. I've actually read the series through twice. So yeah.
So
Cool.
Kurt,
Yes.
are you all caught up on Demon Slayer?
Oh yeah.
Joe,
Yeah.
are you all
Yeah.
caught up on Demon Slayer?
Yeah.
Audience, are you all caught up on Demon Slayer?
Liars! No,
am
you're not, sirs.
Yes, a new movie came out.
Well, but it's not a new movie though. It's just
not a new movie. It's the
it's-
first episode of the new season. It is so good.
No,
It's
Yep,
a movie.
Do the Hashira training. It
Well,
shows.
I thought what was being shown in the theaters was kind of like the train thing where they mashed a bunch of the episodes together to make a movie.
That's exactly what it is.
So
That's exactly what it is. And the episode
No,
version
no,
start
This
goes
is my
out in
nerding
April.
out. Fools, shut the. I'll turn this car around. Look. No. All right, stop. I want to see it. You guys did. This is my nerding out.
For just 25 cents a day, you can support a rock god. Oh,
So it popped up on our AMC app. I went and checked it out. So I wanted to see if it was one of those. So the last one we went to see was a Fathom event and I had to pay $15 a person or whatever, but it was the festival that they have that is live action reading of the thing with amazing stuff on the stage. It's a beautiful thing, but it was not that. It is a summary, more or less, with some extra scenes, if you will, of the final episode of the last season of the Source Myth Village arc, which you guys saw.
yep.
And so it starts with those final battles, gives you a little bit of extra, I guess, stuff that they left on the cutting room floor, and then finishes that episode out. So it's basically the whole episode. They don't change anything story-wise, but they change up a few little, like I said, extra scenes or took something out there, skipped a little something here. Then it goes into the first episode of the next season of To the Hashira training, and it's good. So I will say it's really good, and they redeemed themselves from that crap hole arc, the Source Myth Village, where they took out my boy Nosuke. Nosuke's back. He's back in big time fashion.
Kurt,
And it's
Kurt
so
just rolls
good.
his eyes.
Everybody
so good.
everybody needs a break from Nosuke.
Well,
I'm
you
just
got
saying.
your break. He's
Yeah.
back now. So I mean,
No,
but it
here's
was-
the
it was
thing.
really good.
I actually like him as a character. I just can't handle the over the top crap all the time. I just can't.
Well, then you might
But-
like it here because I think.
and honestly,
dosed it
I
back.
actually would have gone to the theater to see it because it was playing up here too. Had I known they were going to show new stuff, it was not clear that they were going to be showing anything but the season that just finished.
Oh no, this is the new season.
But that's not what it sounded like. Is what.
So just like the train arc, how they actually did a movie for the train arc first, and then they split it up into the season.
But I didn't know that because I just finished watching the whole thing.
Well, I thought
So
I thought it might have been like the train. I was kind of hoping to be like the train arc where we got the whole season. We would have sat through it and watched it, but it's gonna be a real
that was
season.
my understanding, was that's what it was going to be, where the movie is the season and then they're going to split it up. They're going to add more and split it up into the different episodes starting in April, because the new season starts in April.
Right.
Yeah. So no, this is the first. So the way AFC described it was exactly the way I just described that. It'll be the last episode from last season and the first episode of this one. And it absolutely was. They debuted the new theme song and the intro video, and then you watch the whole episode. Then it did the music video end like always, and it was about 40-ish minutes for that episode. So I think the whole thing was said and done in about an hour and a half, give or take.
Okay.
So yeah, but it was very fun, very cool. It's still in theaters, I think, around places. I think if you can get there for less than $10, it's worth it. If your area is charging more than that, honestly, if you can get a matinee for like $5, it's really worth it. It's a lot of fun. I was surprised at how full the theater was here, because my local theater, it doesn't at all. It really only hits at most 2 episodes. But I really felt like it was one. It's going to be interesting. So, all right, so that's that. So check it out. It is coming. I didn't know it's coming in April, which would have been nice for them to say on the screen. But there you go. It's coming in April, which we're looking forward to it. The other thing, TikTok made me buy it, and let me tell you, the nerds out there are gonna love it. And I just don't taste me, bro. I don't want to hear the concerns of privacy invasion. I really don't, because I love this thing. It's called Plaud, Plaud, and I kept seeing it on TikTok shops and this and that. And it's all about how it records, and then AI, powered by Chat GPT, AI turns it into notes. And I'm like, I need that. I mean, I'm always talking and people are twisting my words, or I forgot some things I said I was going to do because I was driving or something else, didn't write it down. This thing is from China. So yeah. All right. Georgia's a one-party state, like Joe pointed out last week to Steven. Tennessee's a one-party state too. But in all honesty, I can get it. It's about the size of a credit card. It's not very obvious what it does. So I could definitely see there might be some whatever. Just know that we're living in the future, and everybody's recording everything all the time. All the time. All right. But this thing works flawlessly. I can put it on the table and it records conversations. And I'll go in and say, make this like an interview. And it, within a couple of minutes, 3 to 5 minutes at most, it transcribes it. An hour of audio, 3 to 5 minutes, transcribes it nearly perfectly. Now, it doesn't say talk speaker 1 or speaker 2, he or her. It just kind of runs it all together. Or if it's a phone call, it'll say the other person or something like that. It does really well. The audio quality is crap, but the fact
transcribing,
it records it right on the little device. Now you do connect it to your phone, and if it's close to your phone, it's automatically recorded like through Bluetooth to your phone. But I've had it a few times without my phone and turn it on, and then it has to load it to the phone, like sync it in.
Linus Tech Tips has talked about a similar thing. I don't think it was called Plaud, but I think there's probably multiple people doing the same thing, to be honest. Yeah, he was saying that he was very interested in it because like opening up recording on your phone directly onto your phone is like stupid hard for a lot of different things. And so having this extra device, whereas that should be easy, like recording a phone call on your phone should be relatively easy, but I assume for legal reasons is why phones don't have it in there to do that.
Well, I don't know. On my iPhone 15, it's got the little button that used to be an on off mute button, but now it's just a push button that you can assign things to. I assign voice memo to that. So if I hold that button down for like 2 seconds, it automatically opens up voice memo and records. But that's still kind of clunky. I mean, if you want to be secretive, you can be secretive. But really,
but I thought you were saying it was 2-party recording, Charles.
What was?
Yeah, this is the devices. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so your voice memo thing on the phone is only going to record you.
You're right. Sorry, you're right,
Yeah.
Kurt. I was thinking most of what I've used it for is open meetings. Like I just hold on. The other day, I had to have a lot of interviews in my company because I'm restructuring some things because we're growing again. I'm opening up a new base and all this other stuff. And so, and they knew it was there. And everybody's curious. I told them about it. But it just recorded. And I'm turning those notes into meeting notes to then copy them, paste them into official Chat GPT, because this is one of those special nuggets, right? That they're not called nuggets, but that it specializes in record it and translate it and doesn't try to do all this other stuff that Chat GPT does. So anyway, I want to take the notes and say, give me a job description based off of this conversation. And it's going to really help refine what I'm doing. But yes, there's another little switch. It does. I don't have it on here because none of my cases are MagSafe, but it'll attach to a MagSafe case like a little wallet credit card holder. And like I said, this thing's as thick as maybe 2 credit cards, maybe 3 at the most. But with the switch flipped up, anytime you want to record, you just hold the button for a second and it vibrates and it's recording. When it's attached to your phone, and actually I was thinking about putting it on my headphone if I could to record this with us for it to do like transcript of our show, right?
Yeah.
It's Now, when I say crystal clear, I mean the audio is still not great, but there's some kind of induction mic in it because my voice and like I called my wife to test it out, and her voice were equal in the recording and super clear, and it translated it into notes very well.
I'd like you to send me a sample of that audio.
Okay.
Doesn't need to be more than 30 seconds because I want to try it with a tool that I use to clean up my audio. Because I think it'll be better than you think.
Interesting.
So yeah. And that will be a topic of what I'm nerding out about, but just not this week.
This week, you're nerding about turning 75 and life gets hard.
Yep, that's exactly right. No, I'm actually so last year, before I joined the podcast, I did a program called 75 Hard, which is not a fitness program, it's not a weight loss program, it's a discipline program, for lack of a better term. And you have 75 days where you have to do specific, 5 items a day you have to do every day. And if you miss one, then you have to start over from day one, regardless of how far in you are. So for people wondering, the things that you have to do are you have to work out twice a day, and one of those days needs to be outside, and each workout needs to be at least 45 minutes. And workout outside means it doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing or whatever. You have to be outside for 45 minutes to do this workout. You can do whatever kind of workout you want, but you have to do one of those workouts outdoors. You have to drink a gallon of water a day. You have to read 10 pages from a nonfiction, preferably self-help book every day. You have to maintain a diet every day. You just can't go off of it, and no alcohol for the entire 75 days. Well, and I drink alcohol, but for something like it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal.
On patreon.com/wise_and_nerdy, there's a Scotch tier level that if you don't want to do 75 hard, but you'd like to give us 75, I got you. I'll get you a drink live whenever we meet in life. Now back to Kurt.
No, it's one of those things where I have. So I'm going on a cruise at the end of May. Starting tomorrow allows me to complete this before I go on the cruise, which is not a big deal one way or another because I would do it anyway. I was doing 75 hard at the last Dragon Con.
I know. This is like your third time?
This will be my third time starting it. I finished it once. I did not finish it the second time. And
then you started right after the first.
I did. That was the problem. I started like literally 3 days after. Oof. And I should have waited. But yeah, it's and you have to take a progress pic every day. Which I take progress pictures now as a matter of course. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, but I'm looking forward to it in a really twisted way. Like I'm kind of excited to wake up tomorrow and get going.
Nice.
I don't know why. It doesn't seem to make sense, but it's just another thing that I'm doing. And I've been going to the gym more now, so it's just going to fit right in with everything. So
that's a lot.
It is, but
I mean, good on you.